So, you've seen the charts, AMD, NVDA, a massive vertical move. The instinctive reaction for most people is to think one of two things: how do I get in? Or it's too late, I've missed it. Both of those reactions miss the point. They're focused on the effect, not the cause. And the cause is a very specific, targeted government decision that just fundamentally changed the landscape for both of these companies. Look, if you're short on time, here's the one thing you need to take away. The US government's decision to grant sales licenses for NVIDIA's H20 chip to China is not just a minor tweak. It immediately unlocks billions in revenue for NVIDIA, and more importantly, it creates a perfectly defined target for AMD to attack, setting the stage for a sustained dual-source demand cycle. Hey, my name is DataCat, and for a long time I was an analyst, a corporate slave if you want to be blunt about it. I spent my days staring at spreadsheets trying to model out the future based on the data. I traded that life for this, a keyboard and a camera. Because I think there's a better way to talk about this stuff. No hype, no yelling, just looking at the numbers and the story they tell. And the story today is more specific than you might think. This isn't about a broad policy reversal. The real catalyst is much more precise. The US government has given NVIDIA the green light, assuring them that licenses will be granted to resume selling its H20 GPU to China. Now this is a really big deal because of the history of this specific chip. The H20 was a product NVIDIA designed specifically to comply with earlier, stricter export rules. It was their attempt to play by the new rules. Then, in a move that surprised the market, that chip was also banned in April 2025, which effectively slammed the door shut on NVIDIA's access to the mainstream Chinese AI market. The decision to now approve its sale is what analysts are calling a surprise win. It removes a huge cloud of uncertainty and allows sales of a known highly desired product to resume immediately. So, let's quantify the impact of this. What does this mean in terms of actual dollars? For NVIDIA, this is a direct, immediate injection of revenue. Chinese customers who were waiting for the H20 can now pick up the phone and place their orders. This directly addresses the problem NVIDIA's own CEO Jensen Huang talked about, where he stated their market share in China had been cut in half because of the restrictions. Instead of spending months designing a new chip, NVIDIA can now ship an existing one, accelerating the timeline to recapture that business. Historically, China has accounted for about 13% of NVIDIA's total revenue. This news provides a clear path to reclaiming that. Now for AMD, the H20 news is in a way even more important. It gives them clarity. The performance ceiling for chips sold to China is no longer a hypothetical line in the sand. It is the exact performance level of the NVIDIA H20. AMD's mission is now crystal clear. Build and deliver a competing accelerator at that specific performance tier. The target is no longer moving, and this clarity on the supply side is about to meet a tidal wave of demand. For the better part of 2 years, the tech giants in China, Alibaba, Tencent, Baidu, have been starved of the hardware they need to power their AI ambitions. They've been falling behind their US competitors, and they know it. This creates a scenario of extreme pent-up demand. These companies aren't just resuming normal purchasing, they are starting an aggressive multi-year catch-up cycle. They need to buy massive volumes of the best chips legally available to them to close that technology gap. This is what can create a demand supercycle that will likely last for the foreseeable future. This directly affects your retirement timeline because it points to a sustained trend, not a one-quarter event. But here is the part that Wall Street doesn't always spell out. This situation creates a unique strategic advantage for AMD. The whole export ban saga taught Chinese companies a painful lesson about relying on a single supplier who is subject to US foreign policy. It is now a strategic necessity for them to have a robust second source. Any cat owner would know, a cat will never rely on a single food bowl. What if the primary one is empty, or heaven forbid, contains the wrong flavor of food? It's just basic risk management. You always cultivate a backup. AMD is the only company that can be that backup at scale. Therefore, AMD is not just competing for leftover business. It is positioned to become an essential strategic partner for the entire Chinese tech sector. we can expect these firms to deliberately allocate a significant share of their budgets to AMD simply to ensure they are never again crippled by a single supplier disruption. This brings us to the valuation. The H20 approval actually reinforces AMD's position. With a hard performance ceiling now established, Chinese buyers know that neither company can sell them their ultimate top-tier chip. The competition becomes a direct head-to-head battle at this new, legally defined performance tier. This prevents NVIDIA from simply dominating with a superior product and makes that dual-source strategy even more critical. So, when you think about AMD's previous stock high, around that $200 level, that valuation was based on a growth story that did not include this clear, defined access to the Chinese AI market. That valuation is now obsolete. The fundamental assumptions have changed, providing a logical basis for the stock to establish a new higher trading range, and the charts are confirming this story with conviction. For months, AMD's stock was stuck in a sideways channel, building a massive base of support below the critical $150 resistance level. Think of this period as pressure building up. All the sellers were being absorbed by patient buyers. Then, in early July, the news hit and the stock broke out. It wasn't a timid move. It was an explosive, long green candle that sliced right through that $150 ceiling. Now, here's the most important part. Look at the volume. That massive spike in trading volume confirms the move. It tells you this wasn't just retail traders chasing a headline. This was institutional money, making a decisive, high-conviction bet. The price is now comfortably above both its 50-day and 200-day moving averages, which represent the medium and long-term health of the stock, and they are now sloping upwards, confirming this new bullish momentum. The next key sign traders will watch for is to see if that old resistance at 150 now becomes a new floor of support. NVIDIA's chart tells a similar story, but one of continuation. After its historic run, the stock entered what traders call a bull flag pattern. It's an orderly, downward-sloping consolidation that suggests the market was just taking a healthy pause, digesting gains before the next move higher. Like AMD, it broke out of this pattern in early July, surging to new highs. And again, the breakout was fueled by a significant increase in volume. That volume acts like rocket fuel, showing that buyers overwhelm the sellers and are in firm control. With the price well above its key moving averages, the technical picture is one of a powerful established uptrend that has just been given a potent reason to continue its run. So the takeaway is this. The recent surge is a justified logical reaction to a very specific piece of news. For NVIDIA, it's an immediate revenue win. For AMD, it's a clear strategic opportunity. The technicals are confirming the fundamentals, and this looks less like the end of a run and more like the beginning of a new sustained leg up. This is the kind of clear data-driven thesis I'll be breaking down here. If you found this useful, maybe consider subscribing. I'll be here, digging through the data. This is DataCat. Stay curious.